Welcome to the Sports Betting Podcast from pregame.com for the week of November 5th, 2009. I'm your host, RJ Bell. I'm joined by Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business, Vegas runner, genuine professional bettor here in Vegas. This is segment 4 of 6, big game preview in the NFL. We've got the Giants and the Chargers. Vegas runner, give us the line report on this game.
All right, this one opened up New York Giants as a 3-point home dog, 3 minus $1.20, meaning if you grabbed the 3 points with San Diego, you only had to lay even money. And the over-under of 47.5. As of today, we're seeing the Giants at minus 4.5 and 47.5.
All right, so back up a second. You misspoke, which happens. That's why we're here to. Is the Giants were not a home dog; they were home favorite. Okay. I was gonna think, man, if they're +3, I'm gonna go back.
Did I say dog? That even made my True Steam blog because it had gotten to 5 and 5.5, the Giants, and now it dropped back down to 4.5.
All right, so it opened up at 3. All right, so that was Vegas saying even teams, home team -3, and the public has bet it up to.
It's up to 4.5 today, but it had gotten up to 5, 5.5.
Okay, so it went up to 5, 5.5, and then it was actually bet back a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay, now each week we do 3 official free picks. Each of us do one. We were 3-0 last week. Everyone's on a hot streak. This is Marco's official free pick. First off, though, how's your free picks doing in general, Marco?
We're 8-2 with the last 10 here on the show, and we're going to go for 9-2. This is going to be my pick here, and start this game off. The Giants are undervalued commodity due to their 3-game losing streak. San Diego, on the flip side, is a counterfeit team. This team has only won one time this year against a winning team, and that was against the Miami Dolphins. I like San Diego. They're going to get manhandled by the Giants at the point of attack. This defense is bad for San Diego. Baltimore hung up 31 on them this year. Pittsburgh hung up 38 on them, and Denver hung up 34 on them. Giants, 3-game losing streak, but look at who they've played. New Orleans, many people believe the best team in the NFL. Arizona, and then last week, Philadelphia. Those are all right now winning teams that are serious playoff contenders.
All right. I agree with most of what you're saying. The idea of a home loss by the Giants against Arizona as a 7-point favorite, if I recall, as, oh, wow, that's just part of the game. Those are the games you're supposed to win.
Except, I'm going to jump in there. That week, that was my free pick, and there was a strong reason why I had Arizona in that game. The Giants were coming off their first loss of the season, or playing against New Orleans. That was the battle of the 2 unbeatens. It was the biggest game in the NFC next to the Favre Green Bay.
They had a big game the week before.
Right. Coming back home on a Monday night game, that's an automatic. Everybody looks for a team to bounce back. I don't buy it.
It was a Sunday night game.
Sunday night, buy back. Everybody looks for them to bounce back. When you lose a big game of that magnitude, there's a carryover effect.
I mean, it might have been a little handicap there, but to maybe you win the game by 3 instead of 7. But again, and I'm not saying, I tend to agree with you. I'm a big Giants fan, though I'm starting to question that, but that's something we can discuss. But again, and I agreed with everything you said, but what we don't want to do is make things look too crystal clear here. This Giants team isn't playing too well. It's not as if they only lost against the best team in football, New Orleans. I mean, to get blown out by Philly as a favorite and to lose at home against Arizona, they're underperforming right now. I mean, or not. Do you disagree? I
don't disagree. They've done exactly everything I thought they've done, because I used Arizona 2 weeks ago and I used Philly last week.
Yeah, but you didn't expect. If I would have said, give me the Giants and 21 points, you wouldn't have been excited about that.
Absolutely
so they underperformed is what I'm saying. Because this team has lost 3 straight ATS, and I mean, let's do the math real quick. I don't think they would have covered a teaser.
No,
in the last 3. So when you lose 3 straight times in a teaser, you're underperforming. So the question is, and then we'll go to VR, is this just the inevitable bad streaks that a team has and there's not any fundamental problem, or is there a fundamental problem? And I guess maybe we'll ask you.
Yeah, there is a fundamental problem, and the key thing that stuck out to me is the Giants are turning the ball over, something they didn't do. Their first 5 games when they came out 5-0 ATS, 5-0 straight up, They only turned the ball over 5 total times in them 5 games, and they got 11 turnovers on defense. So that was a +6 on turnover ratio. The last 3 weeks, they're -5. So they've turned the ball over 9 times in 3 weeks. I don't think they're going to have that problem against San Diego, because San Diego is not a team that's having a positive year on turnovers anyway. So I think I agree with Marco, this is a get-well game for them. I like the Giants too.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mark.
The thing about the turnovers, they've had to play from way behind 2 of those 3 games. The Arizona game was close, but the New Orleans game, they were getting blown out. The Philadelphia game, you're getting blown out. When you're getting blown out and you have to become a one-dimensional team, pass, the defense pins their ears back and comes at you.
Yeah, but
and
the
you'll
turnovers came early. It's not like they happened when they were,
Clearly they got behind.
Everyone.
Clearly they got behind somehow. So maybe that's the issue for us to figure out is why. Well, instead of being abstract, let's be concrete. What would this line have been 3 weeks ago? Before New Orleans, before Atlanta, before Philly, 3 disappointing games, what would this line have been?
I'll give you exactly what it was. The line on this game, not 3 weeks ago, but before the season start, when they put a future line out, was Giants -3. So it's exactly what they opened it at this week. But they thought San Diego would be a much better team. They were highly touted coming into the season. So yeah, that's the reason I think why it's
the thing is, San Diego, like you said, they've fallen way off where they were supposed to be. The better example is 3 or 4 weeks ago, San Diego went into Pittsburgh on a Sunday night game. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh at the time was not playing good. They had those 2 losses in a row against Chicago and Cincinnati. Pittsburgh was a 5.5-point favorite over San Diego. At the same point in time, if you go back in time 3 weeks ago, Giants were regarded as the best team in the NFL.
Yeah,
next
they would have
to New
probably
Orleans.
been 7 or 8.
They would have been 7 in this game. 3 weeks ago, they would have been 7 the way these teams were playing.
All right, so then let's assume you're right. I'm not sure you are. I would tend to think you're saying that the Giants would have been favored over the Steelers on a neutral?
No, they would have been favored over the Giants here.
But what I'm saying is, if you're saying Pittsburgh was 6, that means the Giants would have been 7, 7.5, which means the Giants are better. And I don't think any team would have been favored over the Steelers this year at any point on a neutral. We're getting a touch of that, and we'll be touching on that in the Monday night game. The Steelers are a road favorite against a team that was undefeated last week. So I guess my point is this, and this is where Marco is one of the best handicappers I've ever met, and I've what was it in The Godfather when he goes, "She was the best piece of ass I ever had. I had him all over the world." Jack Walsh was his name.
I've never been in the same reference as a piece of ass, but okay.
Well, you're a commodity when it comes to handicapping. And my point is, what I question is, I know you like to buck perception when you think perception is wrong. You want to buy a piece of property when it's undervalued. I totally get that. My question is are the Giants undervalued right now? And if so, how has the line, you think the line would have been 7?
3 weeks ago, this game would have been 7. Absolutely.
I agree.
So now the question is, has the results of the Giants in the last 3 weeks affected your power ranking on them more than 1.5 points?
It has, because I'm handicapping this as much San Diego as I am the Giants. In one stat I'll give you on San Diego, last week they had a 346-yard to 180-yard edge. When you have that kind of dominance yardage-wise at home, you're supposed to win by more than 8 points over one of the worst teams in the NFL, the Oakland Raiders. And they only won 24-16 last week with a 346 to 180-yard advantage. Something's wrong.
Let me jump in real quick, because actually our clock messed up, and producer Brandon will call you. It's like Letterman. How much time we got left in this spot? 20? Oh, all right. Official free pick on the Giants?
On the Giants,
Next up, we're going to be breaking down the Sunday night NFL game. And remember, you can get all of our videos at pregame.tv, or if you want to download and listen, just go to iTunes and search for pregame.com.